It is time for the Royals Report, and this week we got a look at the annual Sovereign Grant Report from the royal family. The report shows just how much money is used each year to support the Queen, as well as to maintain the royal palaces.
Okay, hold on to your teacups, because what's coming next might just send shockwaves through your soul. According to multiple insiders, King Charles has officially reached his boiling point. And what did His Majesty do in response? Oh, honey, he didn't just throw a royal fit. He allegedly called an emergency meeting. Yes, emergency as in cancel your weekend plans kind of meeting. Senior staff in the room, doors shut tight, and the mood, pure panic. But why all the drama? Because a certain explosive financial report just landed in front of the king. And let's be clear, this wasn't some polite summary of flower budget overruns or garden party expenditures. Oh no, this was the real deal. Allegedly, this report links Meghan and Harry's ongoing money-making ventures to financial benefits still tied to UK taxpayer funds. That's right. The same couple who waved goodbye to royal duties might still be sipping from the royal purse.
Given to the Queen by the British taxpayers is spent. And this year we found there'd been a 41% increase in spending.
We'll see King Charles do this, because I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles.
But as you say, the main headlines really were grabbed by this £2.4 million spending on Frogmore Cottage.
Let's break it down. We're talking security costs, travel assistance, support services, even the priceless edge of royal reputation, allegedly still working in Meghan and Harry's favor after Brexit. Charles, absolutely fuming, reportedly. But this time, it's not about subtle press statements or vague lessons on duty. Nope. Charles is allegedly about to drop the hammer through an emergency palace order that would strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles. We're talking a full-on title takedown, no more Duke and Duchess of Sussex on Netflix contracts, no more ambiguity about whether they're half in or half out. This isn't palace gossip, this is a straight-up reckoning. Insiders are already calling this the biggest royal crisis since Megxit exploded. And if King Charles follows through, royal history is about to be rewritten. Because according to the Sovereign Grant, the money Meghan and Harry accessed post-royalty is, well, not insignificant. To unpack all this chaos, BBC Royals correspondent Sarah Campbell joined in from London. And girl, this is no longer a tabloid whisper. This is the crown bearing its fangs. So what exactly is this emergency order? Multiple royal sources say the king has the power to issue a royal decree, a powerful, swift, no need for parliament instrument that gets things done. And guess what? Reports say Charles is seriously thinking of pulling that lever. Not a passive-aggressive press release, not a quiet adjustment to a website bio. This is the nuclear option, the kind of thing the monarchy hasn't done in generations. Strip a royal of their titles, rights, and affiliations permanently.
People wondering whether £2.4 million is a lot of money to spend on one dwelling. We should say that the palace were keen to point out that the expensive fixtures and fittings, sort of personal touches, would have been paid for by Harry and Meghan.
Before we even get to the main event,
when the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, you're right. This is to do with the Royal Foundation. This is like an umbrella organisation where last February, we saw the first annual meeting. It was dubbed the Fab Four because for the first time we had Harry and Meghan on stage, Kate and William on stage.
It's about an hour-long cab ride. Never seen as grandchildren. This show is packed with the kind of spurious claims and hypocrisy that have become the Sussex signature. We learned they began making videos about their heroic journey 6 months before their Netflix deal was even announced, and right at the start of a pandemic that was killing.
There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent, and it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work, we all have a lot of stuff to do, but when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
And guess what? Word is the legal advisors are already drafting the paperwork. One insider described the tone of the meeting as dead serious. Another said Charles looked visibly shaken as he combed through the financials. No pacing, no mumbling, just pure righteous fury. And when a monarch like Charles gets that furious, things happen. If this order goes through, it will be legal, public, and unbreakable. There won't be a cleanup PR tour. There won't be soft spin in the press. It'll be brutal. The title's gone. The royal connection, cut. And let's not forget, Queen Elizabeth is no longer here to offer grandmotherly grace or stall the fallout. This is King Charles, and by the looks of it, he's swinging the axe himself.
She spreads her legs, she hikes her dress, she circles her genital.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
Still being a mom.
So what sparked this royal storm? You guessed it, money. That shocking new financial report is what lit the fuse. Allegedly, it lays out a string of links between Meghan and Harry's post-royal projects, from Netflix and Spotify to Archwell, and even that jam-launching lifestyle brand and the taxpayer-funded perks they allegedly never fully let go of. The report details extended security protections, travel organized through royal channels, even the continued use of royal branding and prestige to secure sponsors and deals. Nothing technically illegal yet, but for the palace, it's the optics and the nerve. Two people who dramatically quit the royal family might still be dining at the taxpayers' table? That's the red line for Charles.
This series, and they'll believe it. They'll believe the smears about Britain and our monarchy, that we're a bunch of bigoted and hateful people. They even blamed Brexit for the racism which apparently was aimed at Meghan Markle, which is just completely absurd. But by far the most sickening part of this show for me was the constant use of Harry's...
This woman is a born manipulator. The Netflix thing, she doesn't do the work. She doesn't make the jams. It's all made for her.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Sources say the king was livid when the report arrived. One palace aide even whispered that he read it twice. Not because he didn't believe it, but because he wanted to be sure he missed nothing. And after that second read, he allegedly muttered something chilling. We gave them every opportunity, now we close the chapter. That, darling, is not a warning, that's a declaration, and it sounds like the Duke and Duchess titles are next on the chopping block. But plot twist, it's not just King Charles sharpening his blade. Parliament is turning up the heat too. Yup, UK MPs are now demanding clarity. Some are calling for a formal inquiry into how taxpayer money may have inadvertently fueled the Sussex's private empire. If even one thread of that damning report proves true, game over. This isn't just royal drama anymore, it's turning into political accountability. British public is fuming, energy bills are climbing, taxes are rising, and people are being told 2 Montecito-based millionaires might still be cashing in on royal perks. A political commentator didn't hold back. He said, "We're not paying for Meghan's jam empire." And honestly, he's got a point. When families are struggling to heat their homes, the thought of Meghan getting security escorts to film her next floral slow-mo reel is enough to ignite a media firestorm.
Favorite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class in some person who goes sit like this.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. The palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it.
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
The backlash, explosive. Politicians are going on record and the pressure is now boiling over. Even the palace staff, the people who usually know how to keep their cool under tiaras and tradition, are reportedly in full panic mode. Why? Because once Parliament gets involved, it stops being a PR nightmare. It becomes a crisis of public trust. And Charles, he feels the weight. Insiders say he's been warned that this could be a make or break moment. The advice? Act now or risk looking weak. And when a monarchy looks weak, darling, that's when revolutions begin. Now let's talk about the royal elephant in the room. Why didn't they pull the plug sooner? Why wait until now? when this Megxit mess has been brewing for years? Here's the real tea. Queen Elizabeth didn't want it. She was the ultimate old school monarch, all about dignity, grace, and never airing dirty laundry. Even when Meghan and Harry sat across from Oprah throwing shade, even when archetypes dropped with subtle digs at the firm, she stayed quiet. She chose peace over punishment. That was her legacy. But now, Charles is king, and baby Charles isn't holding his tongue anymore. He's reportedly done being patient, done playing nice, because now it's not about emotions or respect. It's about money hitting the press. And when royal finances go public, so do the consequences. Insiders say Charles feels deeply betrayed. Meghan and Harry allegedly used their royal status to ink multi-million-dollar deals and build an empire, all while dragging the very monarchy that built them. And now that this financial report is blowing up headlines, Charles knows he can't keep hiding behind silence. Allegedly, he said again, we gave them every opportunity. They chose this. Now we respond. So if you're asking why they didn't strike earlier, because before it was personal, now it's official. Let's be crystal clear, stripping royal titles isn't just a royal slap on the wrist. It's devastating for Meghan and Harry's brand. Without their titles, they're just two famous ex-royals wandering through the glitter of Hollywood. No more Duke and Duchess red carpet intros. No more royal couple status slapped on Netflix press kits. That magical cloud of royal prestige, gone. Their entire empire was built on the illusion of royalty. Rebranded, their public persona was always, we're still royal, just on our terms. But if Charles brings the hammer down, that illusion shatters. Suddenly, they're just Harry and Meghan, a couple with a failed podcast, a pulled cooking show, and a Spotify deal that ghosted faster than you can say Archewell. Harsh, maybe, but also facts. Hollywood adores royalty. What it doesn't do is write million-dollar checks to ex-royals with no official standing. Brand experts are already warning losing the titles could cost them millions. One analyst bluntly said, the moment Duke and Duchess disappears from their bios, so will half their sponsors. And right now, that perception is hanging on by a royal thread. Charles knows it, the public senses it, and Meghan and Harry, they're about to feel it. The public reaction, think nuclear. This is beyond outrage. It's a full-on digital meltdown. TikTok creators are dragging them through the digital mud, splicing clips of their lavish lifestyle with captions like, tell me again how you're oppressed from your $14 million 0-cent Montecito mansion. British talk shows blowing up. Radio panels heated. Public polls not looking good. People are calling in asking, why are Harry and Meghan, with all their Netflix millions, still using royal privileges that we paid for? The British public feels scammed. They're facing inflation, insane heating bills, grocery prices through the roof, and now they find out Meghan might still be riding on royal security perks. It's a PR disaster and a political landmine because when the monarchy seems like it's shielding rich runaways instead of protecting the taxpayers, that's not just tone deaf, that's a sign of an institution on the edge. And now the palace, completely cornered. They either strike back or risk looking afraid to. Reports say Charles knows there's no middle ground left. This isn't the time for vague statements or polite distance. This is make a move or be moved. So now everyone's asking, is this for real? Or is Charles just bluffing? They believe he'll storm around behind closed doors, maybe leak a few things to the press, but ultimately do nothing. But others say it's already happening. One palace source reportedly told The Sun he's reached his limit. He's not doing this for optics anymore. And that one quote changes everything. Because if this isn't about PR anymore, if it's about respect, power, and legacy, then this isn't a warning shot. It's the final strike. The monarchy's message: we gave you time, we gave you space, you burned it, now we're taking it all back. And when that message comes from a king, it's not temporary. It's not reversible. It's permanent. Once Charles signs that decree, Meghan and Harry's time as royals will be officially over. Not paused, not reimagined, not quietly shelved, over. So what really happens if King Charles follows through? If Meghan and Harry lose their royal titles, not in theory, not just in the headlines, but officially in ink, signed, sealed, and made law, well, the fallout, darling, would be seismic. Their global identity, poof, gone overnight. No more letters addressed to their royal highnesses. No more headlines gushing about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That royal gravitas they carried into meetings, red carpets, interviews, evaporated. Sure, the Netflix deal might survive, but don't be surprised if the producers suddenly shrink the font size on Prince Harry in the credits. Because let's be honest, Hollywood loved them because they were royal. It was the crown that gave them sparkle, legacy, mystery. Take that away, and all you've got left is Harry and Meghan. Two ex-royals with a podcast that flopped, a cooking show that vanished, and a lifestyle brand that hasn't even fully launched yet. And let's be real, Hollywood doesn't like investing in uncertainty. When a celebrity loses their brand power, the endorsements vanish faster than a royal wave. Brands that once signed them thinking they were buying royalty rebranded might suddenly pause and ask, wait, who are we paying again? And it won't just be business that turns cold. Their fan base could split dramatically. Sure, the diehard Meghan and Harry defenders will stand by them no matter what, but a huge part of their global support came from the mystique of the palace drama, the glamour of being modern royals. Cut the royal out of it, and what's left? A podcast that tanked? A production company that's struggling? And a couple that critics now say cashed in on their titles while throwing the monarchy under the bus. This move could either totally backfire or be the closure the crown needs to finally draw the line. But one thing's for sure, it would be historic. Because if Charles goes all in, Meghan would face something she's never had to before, rebuilding a public identity without the very title that made her brand sparkle. And for someone who leveraged that brand into multi-million-dollar deals, that might be the hardest blow of all. So here we are, a bombshell financial report, emergency palace meetings, parliament breathing down the palace's neck, public outrage spilling onto social media, and a king who's done playing nice. The question now is, will King Charles really do it? Will he swing the axe and make the ultimate royal move, stripping Meghan and Harry of the only thing keeping their royal legacy alive? Or is this all strategic theater, a move to scare Meghan and Harry into finally stepping off the royal stage for good? We don't know yet. But one thing's undeniable. When the crown makes a move, it makes it quietly, but swift. And this time, the crack in the monarchy might become a break, permanent, public, and powerful. Stay tuned. Because the royal house is no longer just whispering behind palace walls, it's roaring